G'day, how you going? Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to me video, but before we get started, I better get kitted up, hey? Okay, good stuff. So I'm working on a canvas sheet there, and I've just put the sizes up there for you in inches. All right, for some people always like to know what size it is, and I'll get some colours going up the screen as well. Got a few colours in this one, and I've got a picture off a free website. I'm going to show you what we're doing. You've obviously seen the image in the opening credits there, what we're going to paint today, and I'm going to show you something like this with a bit of practice. If you haven't had too much practice, you can do it. So get on over here, all right? So I want to create that fog in the background, and I'm just seeing black, brown, white sort of colours there. They're what I'm going for. I'm going to try and get these yellow highlights to bring stuff from all the way back there forward this way to us. And I'm going to paint in the sky and the water for now. So I'm going to show you how I paint from this reference picture, and I'll probably change it up a bit as well. I've sketched in some areas where all the foliage and stuff is because I want to paint the sky in and the water, so when I'm doing the water I can get the reflections in as well. Okay, so my horizon line's under halfway. The lower you get the horizon, the more flat the water could look like it's coming to you as well, so just remember that. Okay, where the sky and water is, I'm not using retarder, but I do want to prime it up with my craft white, okay? Craft white is like the consistency of your gesso, but it's not gesso. It's got more of a sheen to it. It's a bit more shinier, but not full on, okay? So this is going to help my colours blend. So like I said, I've penciled that in, so I want to get this in for the sky area. I'm not using retarder because I'm not doing any sky, cloud, magnificent blending here, but it's still going to be a nice sky. So we'll get this blended to where I want the sky to be. And then same in the water. Get it all in there now. Go onto the land there. It doesn't matter if I go over the land a bit because this has no retarder in it. I can dry this. All right. So we'll get that all there. Now I'm going to stroke that so it's nice and smooth. No big chunks in the way to hinder you. Like I said, there's no retarder in this craft paint. This is going to help with the sky, just to look soft and real. Now, I've got me grey. I'm going to get some of this white and put into that grey, so it's not full on grey. It's a mid-tone grey, because just remember, your acrylic paints dry darker, so I want that a very light value of a grey. It's pretty much still white, okay? And then I would probably put a smear of blue in there just to get that bluey grey going. Look how much blue I'm putting in there. Not much, eh? Bugger all. But see the flavour I'm getting? So I want to get this, see, look at that, beautiful. I want to get this mapped into the sky now. And you want to keep these colours as well because you're going to use them later on. I'll show you why. And get this in the water as well. See, now that craft paint I put on, it helps me. You don't have to do it if you feel you don't want to, but I love doing it because see how this paint's gliding across the canvas? It helps me to get that gliding across the canvas there. Now I'll stroke that left and right, get right over there. Make sure it's everywhere you need it, putting it on, and then just simply smoothing it off with left and right brush strokes, okay? I want to get a little bit of blue like here. See, I'm going to pull it over to this side here just so as it's noticeable from that grey. Okay, so I'm pulling it over here and I want to get some of this probably there. Where else can I mainly see? Maybe there, just like that. I've stamped it on because if I tried brushing it on, you're not going to notice it. Now I'll get the brush and pull that through as well. This putter on a brush. Great brush for getting things done real quick, no mucking around. There we go, we've got that bit of blue there. It's very subtle, but it's there. Little sauce for such a lot of spaghetti. That's going to create such a beautiful and realistic impact. You can do this. Back to the reference now, we've got the sky, we've got the water, see where I was talking about that bits of blue. Now I've got some very distant stuff right here, and these ones right here. So I'm going to use the sky colour and darken them up a little bit using a hog bristle filbert. So I'm going to get this colour here and add a bit more grey to it to get it a bit more darker. as what's on there. Maybe a bit more blue in there as well. There we go. And this is very subtle, but it's way out there in the distance. Now there's my horizon line there, right across here. And I can see some very pale, but this is soft trees in the background. That sky is wet still, but if it had retarder in it, it probably would have been a bit difficult to get this to happen. So I'm just pressing softly. And if you feel it's not working for me and my paint's still wet, just stop and dry your canvas. I want to build a bit of a very pale tree mass out there, like what's in the photo, sort of come up from the middle. Now see here, I want to wipe that on the board, and I want to get this bottom just smeared across there like that. There we go. There we go. Now I'm just getting the brush, and see the very edge, I'm just lightly killing that hard edge down into that sky colour, because it's very misty and damp weather out there. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to make a darker value of that again. Okay, so we're going to grab here again, a bit darker, and what I'm going to do, I'll pull some more of that white in there. I've got some forest green here, get a little bit of that in there as well. And we've got that in there. Now we're going to bring all this piece here up into the painting, okay? So the horizon line's here. It's going to start from about here, probably come up. Now I feel that's a little bit, I'm going to grab a bit more blue in there as well. I feel that's a little bit limey. I'm picking up some more now. I've just made it darker. And what I want to do is pretty much look at the picture and roughly work out where I want these ones to be. So I'm going to sort of come around here down. I'm just using the reference to get the height of it, so I know where I'm going to actually travel with my brush. Okay, so there you can see what I've done there, picking up some more paint. And you want to give these trees, I'll get that blob off there, these trees are closer than what I've just done. Okay, so you need some air in between them. So I've got my edge there. I'll just quickly wipe that brush, get the build up off it, using the same brush. And I just want to gently soften these edges into the sky, just the edge here, okay? Because it's very misty and damp and atmospherically wet in the sky there. And don't worry if you get brush strokes, it's all part of your art, it's part of the magic. Wipe your brush as you go. This is sort of like wet blending, but scrumbling, I suppose. Practice this if you feel I can't do it. That means you just got to practice it. I want to get that right out there like that. Blend that in, softening it down. Don't have a hard edge where you've done it, sort of scatter it in. Okay, wipe your brush. And get that sky colour misting over the edge of that foliage you put there. Now using the same brush, I've got the blue, got some green, got some grey. See, that's two green there. I want to go back more blue and grey. Now this is dry. Remember how I was showing you there? It was just, now look at this, it's going to sit on there. Now this is what we just put on there. This is the detail of that. So we're going to just get some light foliage of trees here going into that blended stuff we just put on there. Leaving some air in between them. I'm doing umbrella shapes, but if anything like the letter V, bringing some that way and some this way. I'm grabbing a liner while I still got that, because in the picture it has some trunks there, so we'll get a bit of water on it and we'll put a few simple trunks within that canopy there. So I'll just start here and get them. You need the brush wet. See how that didn't come on? I'll do another one. Boom. There we go. And we just want some, get them straight. You want some trunks coming up here. You can do this. Now I've just put a little bit of black in there just to darken the grey value of that. Because this is too green, I want it a little bit more. There we go. Shadowy value. But just so long as it's still got that fog distance in the front of it. Look. Because it's going to have some bigger green trees there. Now we've just got that distance trees there. We've done the background first. Now just working with this, we've got, I'm just going to go where the horizon line is. I'm just sort of, it's still a bit dry or whatever. I'm just marking it with my brush, picking up some of that paint on the brush, and I want to get this in very long strokes coming down into the water. Pick up the paint on your brush, go again. So it's pretty solid at the where the reflection's meeting the actual surface, but as you come down it can get a bit whispery and weak and thin, but solid there. Load your brush up, I'm keeping it chiseled, and then bring it down like that. So this part here, I want it nice and solid still, and we're just pulling that down into the water like that for now, because we're going to have other stuff in front of it. So what I put in the air, I'll put the reflections down as we go as well. Just getting a bit more darker there because I like it where the water meets the actual reflection. I always like that a bit darker. Get that up there and pull this down. There we go. Find your comfort with the colours you're getting on your palette. Get some of this here as well, just like that. All right, now I want to build this side landmass out from the back coming forward as well. I've just got some burnt umber and then some cadmium yellow there. Get this pulled over there. Now get a bit of sap green in there just to get that value that I'm looking for, which is about there. And this is going to come from about there, about that far I suppose. So I'm going to just make that land there, just like that. Scratchy, whispery. Use these hog bristle brushes are good for this distance stuff. Coming a bit bigger now. Just pull it up like that. Now before we get too started, I do want to get that pulled down as well. Little bits here and there from the, there we go, pull it down, pull it down. We'll make these reflections look shit hot. Now we're going to grab some of that paint again, but with a bit more green in it. And we want to put the, there's some other, see how the green made that look? We've got some other trees out here, just in front of that stuff. Air in between them, get air in between them. Just like that. Coming out here. Now you want to try and get these in the water as well, with the gap between the island and them to make the reflections, just pulling them down in a straight line. All the way there in a straight line. I'm grabbing that line up and I'm just putting the trunks here. I've just picked up some of the burnt umber and a little bit of black within it, just to give some dark trunk values here, coming from the trees down into this landmass and also into the reflections. See how that didn't go on there? I've got to get more water on the brush, twist it on there, get it on there, and there we go, get that on there like that. Don't muck around doing nothing, Ian. There we go. Now I'm grabbing that sap green again and starting on the other side, putting the bigger ones in. So we're going to come from about this point now, and they'll come down within the water as well. So I've just marked that there, and I want to bring some kind of, I'm getting confused here, I've done all that. So I want something just a little bit hovering in front of that. Different greens here. There we go, setting them back. That's making sense. And you want the edges of these nice and scratchy and airy. And now I'm going to bring just some values of this up in front of that other stuff there. Get them nice and airy in front of all that. Okay, this is just my forest, no sorry, my sap green. And there's not really a lot of air in this dense bit here. Not really at all. So let me stamp this on to where I need it to be. Even all the way up here. Nice cracks within the sky, look at that. Oh, I love it. And then we'll block this in. Now before I get too far ahead, I've just blocked all that in. From there we want roughly the, from about here, it's all going to be just pulled into the water, okay, because it's going to have other colours in front of it, but at least we want this there, just nice straight up and down. Now here we'll just go down on its own like that. Okay, simple. This is going to have darker values over it again as well, this colour here. Now the same colour, I'm going to get this one coming up here as well. Now there's a lot of different values of green within that actual picture, but I'm just going to keep it simple and use about 3 of my own, 3 different values of green instead of trying to get too technical. So we want, let's get that brush. Get this nice and airy into the sky. And then we want to pull this down within height as well into our water, because that's the way it is in the picture. It's going to make sense to all the shadowing and everything like that, I feel. All right, now I've got good old forest green here. I'll probably get a pile here, and I want a bit of black in it, okay? So I'm going to, is that black? Yeah, I want some black in it. Not too much black, but I want it black enough to make it dark forest green, really dark. And we pretty much want to, well, where's the horizon line, which is right about here. What I normally do, get my bearings from there. We can come up from here. We're going to come up from there. And this is going to be in front, leaving from here and there a little bit to show there's distance, and start bringing this in front of that other green. This is virtually going to sit on top, okay, all the way up to the top there. It's very dark bits here and there. This hopefully looks like dark green. We're going to quickly go like this. Okay, now there is going to be other stuff there, but we need to get some of that darker colour from about here in the water. So let's try and achieve that. Just sit it. I don't know if I told you, but I have dried all that before. Pulling it down, keeping them nice and straight. But we've got darker values within our shadows in the water, because the water always does look darker. Values of dark green in front of that other colour there. Just a lot of stamping really, isn't it? Get some of that in there. Now getting some of that cad yellow light and mixing in that sap green, that other, not the forest green, the sap green, just to get this lighter value going here. And I'm looking at the reference and trying to separate bits and pieces within here. I might get some, there's just get this value within here, very lightly hitting it. Okay, there we go. Camera picked that up, yeah. And we want some very little, not too much there. Pull it down there. Now there's just some distinctive different bushes all popping out here, so we want to try and make those in front and behind everything, leaving the darks at the bottom. I'll get some lighter bits poking up through here. Yeah, that's looking okay. And we'll get some probably just poking up through here. Nice and scratchy and airy. If it's like, I feel that's a bit too solid there. Just getting some different values of greens within our massive trees there. How's that looking in there? That's not too bad. Now see the bottom, I'll always like to have the bottom dark areas highlighted with a little bit of tree foliage over the top of it. That dark line I'll put there's the depth within all this. Now this looks nothing like the reference here. What I'm doing here is pretty much my own type of bush, because if I try and get following that too much, I'm going to be stuck in a trance and I'll get lost and confused. So I'm going my own way here, using the reference to give me some sort of layout for this painting. So we've got dark there. You can see what's happening. There's a lot of dark within the actual bush. Go from that bit to here. You need those darks there. If you cover it all up and make it look like a pattern, it's very easy to turn your painting into snot. Now see here, we're going to try and leave the darks and just pull our greeny bits down. Work out where the greeny bits are and just pull them down into your reflection as well. Load up your brush. Take your time. You've got plenty of time. There's no rushes. You don't win a prize for getting it done quick. And over here, a lot of this is going to be covered up if it does, but at least it's there. We've got all sorts of reflections here, and all you're doing is pulling it down in the water there. Bit over here. Now the same colour, we're just coming up here, finding our lighter areas we want to get within our foliage. See the edges? I like to sort of bleed this stuff from the edge as well and into, this is not realistic trees, but at the end of the painting it's going to look like, man, that would have been a hard painting to paint, but it's not. It's just knowing how to do it. And I feel if you do it this way, learn this way, if you love this style, practice it, learn it, you can do it. You can do anything you want. It's up to you. You're the only one holding yourself back from anything you want to do. And like I said, there's the horizon line. I want to keep darkness in between. Like you can see the reference, I'll show you later. This looks nothing like it, but it's given me a good reference to create this painting. Don't feel when you're using a reference that you've got to make it exact. Use it just to create your painting, okay? Because we're going to put more detail on this again and you're going to think, my God, it's that easy, is it? Okay, now look at the top and pull your reflections down as well. Nice. Take your time and in a straight line downwards. That's all you got to do. And you'll realise just how easy it is to create your own bullshit within a painting. Now, some of that's not long enough, I'm going to get it long, but if it's too bright, I'll grab the darker colour and go back over it. You got me? In a reflection, I always like to have a distinct area and have it distinctively shadowed in the water as well. Like I might put a distinct bright bit there later on and replicate that in the reflection as well. It's just something I like to do. All right, I'm grabbing the burnt umber and the yellow light, the cadmium yellow light, mixing that up. And I'll put a bit of this green in there as well, the sap green, okay? Just to get this kind of yellowy, browny, greeny wood colour there. And we've got like probably there. Is this a different green? Yeah, see that green? That's the one I'm after. These are like reeds and shrubs. There's one group there. Pull it down a little bit for the water side. Boom. Done, just like that, see? And then we're going to grab some more now and we're coming closer. Pulling this down now into the water. See? Cool. And then we'll just get these ones right here and something big coming off. So we've pretty much got 3 sections there, but we want to break them up with our brush, creating, there we go. Now we'll highlight some of that just by grabbing a bit of yellow in some of that, a bit more yellow. Here we go, I've just grabbed another brush. And you want to kind of get these very, just dingle dangle them around. This is just shrubbery. And I want to come in front of that one. You know how I made 3 blobs? I want to come in front of that other one, okay, and then set it back. So I'll come here. Don't want it looking too square though. And then we'll do this one. There we go. It doesn't look that good at the moment, but let's just put the other aspects there, which is I'm going to use this fan brush to grab the those shapes that I'm looking for within the leaves. So because I want this coming across like that. Now you have to dry that so as we can detail it. It does look a bit funny here. I'll get that coming off the painting there. There we go, something like that. Just on the other side, getting something here. It's coming down the horizon line. So we're going to get this about here. There it is there. Now there's where it's hitting the water, so I'm going to pull that bit down. There like that. Now let's quickly grab that yellow colour as well that we had on the fan brush. I haven't dried that yet, let's hope I don't have to. And this shrubbery, this is just the second layer of the colour. We're going to highlight this to grab it, give it some detail, but this is just like some kind of hedge growing along the side of the water there. And the reflections down in there as well. Now I'm getting some of the forest green and the black again, because we've got to sit those shrubs that we just put down in the water with the shadow under it. If we don't, they're going to look weird and wrong. There's our dark here. Now we've got to get under here dark where it's sitting over the water, and then our highlights will appropriately give it that bullshit effect. Now come here, stamp it on, pull it down, play with your brush, get it in there a bit, pull it down. You need these darks within your shrubs. If they're not there, it's just going to look different. Something's not quite right, and that's because the darks are just not there. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Over here, see how we got it there, but it's not here yet. We've put these shrubs in front of that, so now we're going to get them, because they're tapering down the painting like they were in the reference picture there, and we're going to get this all dark. So I'm keeping it, there we go, something like that, and pulling it down. You can scatter it in the shrub there a bit, but you need that dark between that and the water. And we can have some dark pockets in there if you want, but we're going to highlight that now, make it look cracking hot. Now I'm going to grab the cad yellow light and the forest green. I'm going to make a yellow green out of these two. Find the value that you think's going to work. So now we want to get this, it's got to be a different green than what's behind there, which it is, and this is going to lace out over the water. See if this brush will work for you or something different. Now there's our dark, we want some of it just lacing over the water. Get some on there, over that dark colours. And if you feel there's not enough dark in there, add some more back in there. Now see here, you don't want it to stop like that. You want to get some of this right over there. Now grabbing the same forest green and that cad yellow mixed together. This is dry. I want to try and bring this into that dark a bit and within the painting. Just like that. It's looking a little bit better. And all the way back here. You can dance in front of that black a little bit. Let's get our brush loaded up better than that. And this is just lacing over the water, over that shadowy bit as well. I don't know what sort of shrub or bush or water weed it is, but it's just something growing along the banks, and it's my bush. Then we can of course do those down here as well. Let's get them a little bit brighter, a little bit more yellow within that, and just get some of this in the water there. Try and keep them on the straight and narrow. They go too crooked and it makes your painting look like snot. Now like I said before, I want a distinct bit up in here. Let's try something. Just a little bit up in here somewhere maybe. Something distinctive. We're just getting some brighter values on the somewhere here. And then these brighter values that we're poking all through here, see how I've got the light hitting it? Looking over here, I want to get some of this a little bit more detailed with some brighter yellowy green within there as well, so we can probably just gingerly light some of this up. I need to look in the monitor to check where I'm going with my squinting detail. Not too bad, not too bad. We can put a bit of light hitting there. Get that in front of that stuff there. Pull back here a bit. And then we'll do the same there. We'll get those replicated in the reflections as well. See there, they're more. Okay, you can leave it at that, but there is a piece of resistance in this painting, which is that log going across the front of the creek there. So I want to put something similar to that in my painting. So I'm going to just use the burnt umber as the mapping in colour, and I've just got a flat, soft brush here. And I'm looking at the painting there, and I could see, well, it's got like a bit of a stick coming out here, so it's like there, and where it's on the water you want that in cahoots with the horizon line. So I'm going to have one there and probably another one coming here. Okay, so I want that to come up the painting a lot more, because that's going to be the broken bit of wood, and that can go all the way over there like that. Now I've got to detail that into the water. So first I want to get the line where it's in the water, which is about here. Get it nice and sharp on the corner there. The rest of it can be just woody. Woody. And this one, it's going to be flat on the water as well. But all this bit here is like, I don't know, some big branch that's just broken off and rotten in the water there. So we got that. Where else is the main thing? Put like a broken one coming off it there. Now we've got to put the reflection of that in the water, because see how it looks like it's floating? I'm grabbing some black. Okay. And that one's pretty much coming this way like that, so join it up wherever. Because that brown we put on, that's going to have dark in it as well. That's why I'm using dark here now. And then the same for here. This doesn't have much because it's laying. So we're pretty much going to come along here like so. Replicate that. Now dry your log. And you want to get some darker values within this log, that brown there, okay? So roughly give you a reference, a bit of a look, and something over this. Yeah, look here and there where you feel it might need some dark. Leaving the brown so don't kill all that brown. I've given that a dry and I've washed that brush because I don't want the black turning grey, and I want to get some of the white and the burnt umber now. Mix up the old light colour of that timber, what it looks like in the painting there. Coming down there like that. You want it scratchy. A lot of this right in that dark area there is lit up. Scratch it through. Get some of this all scratchy and looks like, oh, water soaked wood. There we go, I want to merge that in. Alright, I just want to finish it off and grab some of this yellow with the green here, mainly the yellow on the fan brush that I had before, and bring in something to hide that bottom corner down here, because I'm not happy with that. So I'll put some sticks there, and I'm going to try and just bring some of a different value. I don't want it to clash with that one. Something right in front here, some kind of different bush altogether, just tracing down, coming off the canvas and into the, so it's probably some other tree here out of shot, you know, and it's just hiding something that I'm not happy with. All that bottom bit there. There is some sort of something on the actual photo coming off the painting there, off the picture as well, so that's what gave me the idea that this could work. So I'm going to come off there as best as I can and taper it over there. And before I put the glaze, I've just grabbed some of that yellow that I used on the other side and just highlighting some of this, just to give it that extra wow factor as well, because it was a bit bland over here. Alright, I'm going to grab myself an appropriate flat brush. This one will do. I've got my glaze. Now I want to get a bit of white in my brush, okay? Just a little bit, and then glaze the rest of it up, okay? Pulling the glaze into the brush, and I want to sit that tree trunk down in the water. So this pretty much comes all the way like that. Look at that. Water. 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 See there? I got it there. We'll get it under the, here, where that's hitting the water. Water. And then we can also sink a lot of this back. Where are we? Can you see where I am? It's very subtle. Now see the reflection. If you want to get them a lot more realistic than what they're looking, grab yourself a good flat brush and get the watercolour, which is the white and very minimal grey, which I'm grabbing. Let's see how we're going there. I want it mainly white. And what you do, you scallop bits of the water within the reflection, like so. Now you want a good flat brush for doing this scalloping procedure. So I've got another one, there we go. So you bring it just like that. That one I was using before, it was a bit fat. And lace them throughout the reflection here, just like so, from the water, and then lace it in. And if there's any wind hitting the water, that's what creates these things. See the colour of the reflection, that greeny colour and everything we got there. You grab that colour, okay, which I'm grabbing. I hope get a bit of a darker one down here. I'm just looking on the palette. And then same thing, you come from that side and then you scallop some of this into the water. Like, keep them very straight though. I want to autograph this and then we'll whack a frame on it. So be sure to check out the links in the description below. Share, like and subscribe if it's your first time here. And if you ever want to own one of my paintings, they're all available to purchase through PayPal. Oh. Do you ever have that time, sometimes you're autographing your painting and sometimes it works out so good and other times it's like just not working for you? It happens to me a lot. I'll try and get Steve's little paw print there. Alright. There we go, that's not too shabby, is it? A nice piece of art. We've got something semi-realistic a beginner can achieve. Just practice the procedures if you think it's a bit too difficult for you, because you can do it, and I know you can do that. Well, I hope you had fun watching this video. Give it a go and let me know in my art group. Check out the links in the description below. If you're not a member, become a member and share your art there. And if you like what I'm doing, tell your friends, but if you don't, you tell everybody. Goodbye, good luck, and good on you.